If you look at the last 40, 50 years of the tech industry, every decade or so, we've had the computing interface changes, the way people interact with computers changes, right? So in the mid to late 80s, once the PC revolution came about, we used the desktop as a metaphor, right? So you have your personal computer with the desktop and a desktop operating system, and then you download these desktop applications, and you have a banking app and a gaming app and so on. And then in the mid-90s, it all changed to the web model, right, where it didn't matter what computer you had, but you just used the browser to go visit different websites, which means now you had a gaming website, a banking website, and so on, right? And then yet again in the mid-2000s, with the prevalence of these small screens and smartphones, it changed yet again, where you have your mobile device, with a smartphone OS. You download your mobile app to it, and so on, right? And that was the new mechanism. And now, we are evolving to yet another method in the mid-teens, where it's becoming a conversational interface, right? Where the messaging app is your primary way to interact with, to chat and communicate with not just your friends, but now with any application. Yeah. So you would have a gaming chatbot or a banking chatbot that can do all of these things. So if you talk about this last transition from the mobile app sort of mechanism to a conversational experience, right? That's driven primarily by the fact that on the small screen with such limited real estate, it's known beyond any doubt that by far the most popular apps used on the mobile device are the messaging apps, right? You look at the app stores, the top 5 or 10 apps are all messaging or messaging related apps. So the intensity and the frequency of usage is just off the charts, far greater than any other apps, be it gaming or transacting or e-commerce or banking or even social media, right? So it's clear that on the small screen, messaging is the most preferred interaction medium, and therefore that's what users use. That's where they're spending their time, and that's driving this. So that's why the tech industry is saying, well, if that's what users like to do, if that's where they are, why not deliver our services right inside the messaging app through a chatbot? So one is that's where people are, but to add to it, it's also more natural, more intuitive. Sort of, as humans, we know how to chat, we know how to talk, we do that naturally. There's no training required to use so if you think about the earlier modes, right, whether it's a desktop app, a website, or a mobile app, all of those mechanisms required people to behave like computers. Yep. Which is, you go to page number 2, button number 3, you click, and then something happens, right? But in the conversational paradigm, you now have computers behaving like people. Yeah. Right? Where they have a conversation with you in a natural way. Humans don't have to figure out what buttons to press. Instead, you have computers figuring out how to understand regular user queries. So I think in that sense, right? So it's natural, it's convenient, it's intuitive, it requires no training. It's about the easiest thing anybody can do. Even a child can use it, right? So I think that's the power of conversational interfaces. And you're seeing that in the rise of Amazon Alexa is getting popular. Voice interfaces, text interfaces. They're continuing to emerge and grow. And I think soon enough, everything that we do, any computing experience, by and large, will just be driven through a conversational interface. We'll just be talking and texting our way through the computing universe.